When people think of the Cooper family, it's almost automatic to focus on Sheldon, the boy genius, the prodigy, the physicist who grew up to change the world in the Big Bang Theory. For years, Sheldon's brilliance has been the center of attention, and understandably so. But lately, as Georgie and Mandy's first marriage continues to build on what young Sheldon started, a new question has been circulating among fans. Are Georgie's achievements actually more impressive than Sheldon's? At first, this might sound like an odd comparison. After all, Sheldon is the one with multiple degrees, scientific awards, and a Nobel Prize in physics. Georgie, on the other hand, didn't even go to college. But when you look deeper, not just at titles and education but at what each of them actually overcame and what they built for themselves, the comparison starts to feel a lot more even. In some ways, Georgie's achievements, while less glamorous on paper, might actually be more remarkable in real-life terms. Let's start by considering where both brothers began. Growing up in the same household in East Texas, both Georgie and Sheldon faced the same environment: modest means, a working-class family, and the constant struggle of trying to make something of yourself in a small town. But they experienced that environment in very different ways. Sheldon, from a young age, was recognized as special, gifted, brilliant, even eccentric. The world, or at least the people around him, adjusted to him. Teachers made exceptions, his mother fought for his opportunities, and doors were opened because of his intellect. Georgie, though, didn't have that luxury. He was the normal one, the one who didn't stand out academically, and that came with its own set of challenges. Georgie had to find his path the hard way. He didn't have mentors lining up to guide him or scholarships waiting for him. Instead, he had to learn how to make a living and build success from scratch. And that's exactly what makes his achievements stand out. While Sheldon's success was built around his exceptional mind and the systems that nurtured it, Georgie's was built from resilience, street smarts, and an ability to adapt. He took real-world challenges, running a business, supporting a family, dealing with financial risk, and turned them into opportunities. In Young Sheldon and later in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, we see this play out clearly. Georgie starts off as a teenager who sells tires at Mima's laundromat, someone who doesn't always make the smartest decisions but learns through trial and error. By the time first marriage picks up, Georgie has evolved into a business owner, a husband, and a father, all while navigating the kind of problems that Sheldon never had to face. He didn't just grow up, he grew through hardship. And that's where his story starts to feel, in many ways, more relatable and more impressive. Sheldon's intelligence is innate. It's his defining trait, but it also insulated him from many of life's everyday struggles. Georgie's success, on the other hand, came from the ground up. He had to teach himself how to be independent, how to work with people, how to manage money, and how to balance personal relationships. None of those skills came naturally to him, and yet he learned them all through persistence. When you strip away the academic accolades, Georgie's achievements are built on human qualities that take just as much, if not more, strength to develop. Another key difference between the two brothers lies in what they value. Sheldon measures success through recognition, awards, titles, scientific discoveries. Georgie measures success through stability, family, and providing for those he loves. In that sense, Georgie's achievements might actually be more grounded in real-life values. He took responsibility at a young age, often stepping up when others didn't. After their father's death, Georgie became the one to support the family financially, even putting his own ambitions on hold to make sure everyone else was okay. That's not the kind of achievement that wins a Nobel Prize, but it's the kind that speaks volumes about character. What's also interesting is that Georgie's growth came without the same level of validation that Sheldon received. Sheldon's achievements were constantly celebrated, even if people didn't always understand him. Georgie's, by contrast, were often overlooked or underestimated. It's easy to admire genius when it's obvious. It's harder to recognize hard work when it looks ordinary. But that's the point. Georgie represents the quiet kind of success that doesn't need applause. He built something out of sheer determination, and in many ways, that's a rarer and more impressive trait. If we think about success in terms of impact, Sheldon's contributions to science are undoubtedly monumental. But Georgie's impact exists on a different level, the personal and social one. He built a business that supports others, created jobs, and provided for his family. He learned how to maintain relationships, even through conflict. He became the kind of man who can balance ambition with compassion. That's not the kind of success that gets written about in textbooks, but it's the kind that keeps families and communities running. There's also something to be said about the way both brothers handle failure. Sheldon doesn't deal well with setbacks. His perfectionism often leads to frustration and emotional outbursts. Georgie, on the other hand, learned to embrace failure as part of the process. Every mistake he made, whether in love, business, or life, became a lesson. That adaptability and resilience are signs of someone who's learned how to thrive in an unpredictable world. And in that sense, Georgie's ability to bounce back might be his most impressive quality of all. Fans of The Big Bang Theory often see Sheldon as the pinnacle of achievement, but even in that show, his personal life remains complicated. He struggles with relationships, social cues, and emotional understanding. Georgie, by contrast, learns how to connect with people. He understands empathy in a way Sheldon never truly could. That emotional intelligence, the ability to build trust, to love, to care is another form of achievement, one that's often undervalued but deeply important. Montana Jordan, who plays Georgie, has done a fantastic job of bringing that dimension to life. His portrayal captures both the humor and the heart of a man trying to find his place in the world without the advantages his brother had. Watching Georgie grow from a kid who sold tires to a man who runs his own business and raises a family gives viewers something powerful, proof that success doesn't always have to look the same. The beauty of this comparison between Georgie and Sheldon is that it challenges what we traditionally think of as impressive. Society often celebrates intellectual or academic success above everything else, but real life is rarely that simple. Most people can relate more to Georgie's struggles than Sheldon's brilliance. Georgie's achievements, building a life from nothing, learning from mistakes, and finding fulfillment through perseverance, mirror the kind of growth that defines most people's reality. Of course, it's not about diminishing Sheldon's accomplishments. His scientific contributions and intellect are extraordinary, and they deserve recognition. But what makes Georgie's story so compelling is that it reflects the kind of achievement that anyone can aspire to. Not everyone can be a genius, but everyone can work hard, adapt, and build something meaningful out of what they have. That's the essence of Georgie's journey, and that's what makes it so impressive. If we're being honest, Sheldon's world is one of exceptional privilege, not in the financial sense, but in the sense of being uniquely gifted. Georgie's world is one of effort. He represents the everyday person who figures things out one step at a time, who fails and keeps going anyway. That's why, for many viewers, Georgie's achievements hit closer to home. They show that greatness doesn't always come from genius. Sometimes it comes from grit. In the larger universe of The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, it's poetic how both brothers end up successful in their own ways. Sheldon changes the world of science, while Georgie builds a life filled with love, responsibility, and real-world accomplishment. When you think about it that way, maybe Georgie's achievements aren't just impressive. Maybe they're the more complete version of success. He's not defined by what he knows, but by what he's built and who he's become. So, are Georgie's achievements more impressive than Sheldon's? That depends on how you define success. If success is about intellect and recognition, Sheldon wins without question. But if success is about growth, perseverance, and building something meaningful out of adversity, then Georgie stands just as tall, maybe even taller. His achievements remind us that success isn't only about being the smartest person in the room. It's about using what you have to make your life, and the lives of those around you, better. In the end, that might be the real takeaway from the Cooper brothers' stories. Sheldon shows us what it looks like to be exceptional in mind. Georgie shows us what it looks like to be exceptional in spirit. Both are impressive, but Georgie's kind of achievement, the kind that's earned through struggle, might just be the one that leaves the deepest mark. For more videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.